But you know, they have professional agitators. They're professional.
They're paid.
I had one the other night. I went into a restaurant, and this woman stood up. I looked at her immediately. She had money. She wasn't serious. They get paid for it. They're professional, from Soros and other people. And we're going to look into Soros, because I think it's a RICO case against him and other people. Because this is more than like protests. This is real agitation. This is riots on the street. And we're going to look into that.
Hello, Patriots, and welcome back to Harlan Reports. I'm Harlan, and I am so glad you are here with me tonight. Before we even start, I need to ask you a huge favor. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with everyone you know. The mainstream media won't tell you this story. They are too scared of the truth. But we aren't. We need to spread this truth like a wildfire to save our country. Tonight's top story is the most important news I have ever delivered. It is about survival. It is about justice. It is about a president who loves you so much, he is willing to walk into the fire to save us. You need to hear this. Every American needs to hear this.
That this is not just a story about violence and chaos, as you alluded to, Mr. President. This is a money story. And at the Government Accountability Institute, my colleague and I, Peter Schweitzer and and our team, we followed the money, and we followed it to the top of what we call the protest industrial complex, Riot Inc. And we found a network of NGOs. It's not just the Soros network, the Open Society network, it's other funding networks, the Arabella funding network, the Tides funding network, Neville Roy Singham and his network, Foreign Cash. And it's also big left-wing funders. Some of them are not citizens of this country. Mr. Hans-Jörg Wyss of Switzerland. They're pouring money into this entire ecosystem. And so I want to share 3 money facts with you about what we call Riot Inc. Number 1, like any corporation, Riot Inc. has many divisions. It doesn't just have the Antifa boots on the ground division. It has PR divisions. It has marketing divisions. It has a very well-funded legal division to get these boots on the ground back on the streets as quickly as possible. But it does have those investors that I mentioned. Number 2, we have identified dozens of radical organizations, not just the decentralized Antifa organizations, but dozens of radical organizations that have received more than $100 million from the Riot Inc. investors. These would be the lawyer groups. These would be the groups that advocate for calling good, honest Americans fascists, etc. And then 3, I think the most shocking thing is that we have found that more than $100 million in U.S. taxpayer funding has flowed into these funding networks, including at least $4 million to these very groups themselves, not just Antifa types, but there was an event in Atlanta called Stop Cop City. Over 60 rioters were charged with domestic terrorism. These groups received money for that from both the billionaire class as well as taxpayer money. So one other thing, this money helps fund the decentralized crowdfunding platforms. These are ways that Antifa, the John Brown Gun Club of Elm Fork, which had links to that attack on the ICE facility, the Socialist Rifle Association, and just because they don't have LLCs or EIN numbers doesn't mean they can't get paid. Some of these funding platforms, crowdfunding platforms, are funded by this network that we call Riot Inc. So, again, I want to thank you for your leadership, for the whole cabinet's leadership on this. We're going to keep following the money and appreciate everything you're doing, sir.
Do you know the name of any of the funders? Do you know the names? Because if you do, I'd like you to give them to Cash or Pam.
Absolutely.
Or Christy.
Yeah, we'll do that.
As soon as you can. That's all of you. Because you probably know the names after a certain period of time. You tend to find out. But these are people that do not have good intention for the country. And that's treasonous, probably. So if you could, very important, if you could do that, it would be great. Nobody would know better than you. You'll figure it out.
Good evening, folks. I have to be honest with you right now. My hands are shaking a little bit as I read this. Not from fear, but from a feeling I haven't felt in a long, long time. It's hope. It's relief. It's that feeling you get when you realize you aren't alone in the dark anymore. For so long, we have watched our beautiful country get hurt. We have seen our brave men and women in uniform, the heroes who protect our borders, get treated like villains. We have seen chaos in our streets, and wondered, who is going to stop this? Does anyone care about us? Well, tonight, we got our answer. And it is bringing tears to my eyes just saying it. President Donald Trump isn't just sitting in the White House talking. He is acting. He is fighting for us. Just moments ago, we received word of something that changes everything. You know those scary attacks on our ICE agents? The rocks, the fires, the hatred directed at the moms and dads who just want to keep our neighborhood safe. We always knew it wasn't random. We knew someone was paying for that hate. And tonight, President Trump has stepped forward like a lion protecting his family. He has uncovered the cold, hard proof. He found the money trail. It turns out, billionaires like George Soros and Reid Hoffman, people who have so much money they think they can buy our country, have been funneling cash to the bad guys. They have been paying for the attacks on the very people trying to keep us safe. It breaks your heart, doesn't it? To think that there are people out there who want to see America fail so badly, they would pay to hurt our protectors. But wipe those tears, because the sadness is turning into victory. President Trump has officially launched a massive investigation. He is using a powerful law called RICO. Think of it like a giant shield that stops the bad guys in their tracks. He is freezing their money. He is cutting off the supply of hate. He looked at the evidence. He looked at the pain in the eyes of our border agents, and he said, enough. He is keeping his promise to put America first, and he is doing it right now, while the world watches in shock. This is just the beginning. Folks, you won't believe exactly how he found this out. Stay with me, because the story gets even more incredible.
According to George Soros' own files from his Open Society foundations, so myself, my colleagues at Capital Research Center, basically went through as many grants of his, as many funding streams as we could find, and here's the smoking guns that we believe that President Trump, if he's informed of it, can use to go after Soros' network of hate in various ways. We traced over $80 million going from the Open Society foundations to at least 54 groups engaged in crime and domestic terrorism on U.S. soil, or that are pro-terrorism, endorsing things like the October 7th attacks, or are associated with foreign terrorist organizations or explicitly pro-terror groups. And this is according to his own files, so it's rock solid. And over all of that amount, over 23 million went to at least 7 groups that are doing things that meet the FBI's definition of domestic terrorism, including rioting and things like that.
Can you be specific, more specific than this?
Absolutely. I'm happy to. So the Center for Third World Organizing, for example, is an organization that has a hub that fused together several really extreme organizations. We found $400,000 going to them, and they openly boast of the fact that they threw down during the uprisings in Minnesota, obviously referring to the rioting, and boasting of how many thousands of people they helped train. A lot of these groups have created what they'll call like a protest guide or an activism toolkit, and it sounds innocuous. Then you open it up and you'll see support for Hamas in it, but then they'll sometimes slyly say, for more information, go to these hyperlinks. And you go to the hyperlinks, and there'll be guides recommending things like property destruction, violence, false IDs, how to obstruct justice, all of these things, and they know darn well what they're doing. They don't put that there by accident. Some of the more careful ones will just direct their readership to anarchist websites with all that material, knowing that they'll see it when it's there. And so, yeah, I mean, it's really stunning. And some of these groups are coalitions. So when I say 54 groups, just one of those might have 300 entities in that one. So it's actually, the real number is actually much higher.
So you might be asking yourself right now, Harlan, how on earth did he catch them? How did President Trump find the smoking gun? Well, folks, this is where the story gets even more incredible. It wasn't just luck. It was brilliance. It was the kind of sharp, strategic thinking that only a man who truly loves this country possesses. While the mainstream media was busy talking about nonsense, President Trump and his loyal team were working quietly in the background. They were following the breadcrumbs. They were shining a bright light into the darkest corners where these billionaires thought they could hide. For months, we have seen the chaos at our borders. We saw the angry mobs, the organized attacks on our ICE agents, and deep down, we all felt it, didn't we? It didn't look like a random group of angry people. It looked like an army. And armies need money. They need supplies. They need marching orders. President Trump knew this. He knew that the radical left doesn't just wake up and decide to destroy a country. They get paid to do it. So he ordered his team to look at the bank accounts, to look at the wire transfers, to follow the money trail all the way back to the source. And what they found is enough to make you sick to your stomach. They found a direct line from the shiny offices of George Soros and Reid Hoffman right to the streets where our heroes are being attacked. Imagine this, a billionaire sitting in a comfortable chair signing a check. That check travels through a maze of fake groups and hidden accounts, but eventually it buys a brick. It buys gasoline, it buys a bus ticket for a violent agitator, and that brick ends up smashing the window of an ICE vehicle. That gasoline starts a fire near a border patrol station. That money was used to hurt Americans. It feels like a betrayal, doesn't it? These are people with all the blessings of America using their fortune to tear it down. But here's the good news. The part that makes you want to stand up and cheer. They didn't think anyone would be brave enough to call them out. They thought they were untouchable, but they forgot one thing. Donald Trump doesn't fear them. He saw the proof, the emails, the financial records, the undeniable truths that they were fueling this fire. And he didn't hesitate. He didn't ask for permission. He prepared for battle. This isn't just about money anymore, friends. It is about right and wrong. It is about a president who looked at this tangled web of lies and decided to cut right through it with the sword of justice. He has exposed their secret game to the world. But if you think exposing them was the end of it, you are wrong. Oh, you are so wrong. Because what President Trump is doing next, well, let's just say he is about to turn their own game against them in a way they never saw coming.
They're paid people. This is organized. They're committing acts of political terrorism on American soil. And it's time we had a government that looked out for the American people rather than the people who are committing violence against the American people.
When you go out to Portland and you see what's happening in Portland, this is like nobody's ever seen anything like it. Every night, and this has gone on for years. They just burn the place down, and you know the shop owners, most of them have left, but the few shops that are open, they just use plywood and just like 3/4 inch plywood. They don't put storefronts in because they know it's going to be burned down. These are professional agitators.
That's right.
These are bad people, and they're paid a lot of money by rich people, some of whom we know. I'm sure I know some. I don't. If I knew, I wouldn't associate because I'll be in trouble because Pam will say, "Why are you associating with this person?" But I will tell you that these are bad people, and they're paying a lot of money, millions of dollars. But take a look at Portland sometime. These are crazy people, and they're trying to burn down buildings, including federal buildings. And on my list of things that I want to do before we finish up with the cities, because I think we're going to whip the cities back into shape, and we have to. We cannot let our cities, and that's a small example, but it's the most violent example. It's every night, and they've done it for years. You'd think maybe at some point they made their point, and what are they doing? But we're going to get out there, and we're going to do a pretty big number of those people in Portland that are doing that. They're professional agitators and anarchists. They're actually anarchists, yeah. Go ahead, why don't you defend? Let's see you defend them, Jeff.
No, I'm not defending anyone. I just want, so that we can just explain this in our stories. Could you name a couple?
You don't explain it right, though, Jeff. Go ahead, let's go. Maybe let's give you another chance. Go ahead.
Antifa, Soros. What names are we talking about?
Well, Soros is a name certainly that I keep hearing. I don't know, but Soros is a name that I hear. I hear a lot of different names. I hear names of some pretty rich people that are radical left people. Maybe I hear about a guy named Reid Hoffman. Somebody's a pretty rich guy, I guess, and I hear about him. I don't know. Maybe could be him. Could be a lot of people. We hear the same names. But they're bad, and we're going to find out. And if they are funding these things, they're going to have some problems because they're agitators and they're anarchists.
Now hold on to your seats, because the reaction to this is something you have to hear to believe. For years, these billionaires, Soros and Hoffman, walked around like they owned the place. They thought their money made them invisible. They thought they could pay for chaos from their high towers and never feel the heat. But the moment President Trump signed that order, the moment the RICO investigation kicked in, everything changed. We are hearing reports that the panic in their circles is real. The money spigots have been turned off. One minute they were flooding our country with cash for chaos, and the next, click, silence. Their accounts are freezing up faster than a pond in winter. But that's not the part that's making me tear up. It's what is happening on the other side. I want you to picture an ICE station in Texas right now. I just got a message from a contact of mine down there. A brave guy we'll call Mike. Mike has been on the force for 20 years. He's tough as nails. But he told me that when the news came over the radio, when they heard that the President Trump was going after the people, funding the attacks against them, the whole room went quiet. And then grown men, tough men who face danger every single day, started to cry. Mike said, "Harlan, for the first time in years, we don't feel like we are fighting alone. We feel like Dad is home." Can you imagine that relief? It's like being lost in a dark, scary storm and finally seeing the lighthouse. They know that the most powerful man on earth, President Trump, has their backs. He isn't just sending a tweet, he is standing in front of them like a giant shield. He is telling the bullies, you want to get to them? You have to go through me. This is what America First really means. It means loving the people who protect us more than the people who want to destroy us. It means that when our family is under attack, we don't just watch, we fight back. And let me tell you, the fight is just heating up. Because while the bad guys are scrambling to hide their tracks, President Trump's team has already found something else. Something buried deep in those financial records that is going to blow the lid off this whole operation. You won't believe what they were planning next. I need you to take a deep breath with me, folks, because this next part is hard to say. It hurts my heart. Remember I told you there was something else in those financial records? Something buried deep. Well, President Trump's team found it, and it proves that this fight isn't just political. It is personal, it is evil. They weren't just paying for bricks and masks to use at the border. No, it is much darker than that. The evidence suggests that some of this money from these massive billionaires, was being used to buy information. They were paying people to find out where our ICE agents live. They were building databases of names and addresses. They were targeting the homes where our heroes sleep, where their wives cook dinner, where their little children play in the yard. Can you imagine that? Just picture a little girl. Let's call her Emily, 7 years old. She hears a noise outside her window at night. She's scared. She runs to her dad, who is an ICE agent, a man who spends his whole day protecting us. But he can't protect her from the fear that someone is watching their house, paid for by a billionaire thousands of miles away. It makes me want to cry just thinking about the terror those families have felt. They felt hunted in their own driveways. But this is where the tears of sadness turn into tears of gratitude. When President Trump saw this, when he saw that they were coming after the families, the wives, and the children, he didn't just get angry. He got protective. He took it personally. He reportedly slammed his hand on the desk and said, "This ends today. Nobody touches our families." That RICO investigation isn't just about freezing bank accounts. It is about building a wall of protection around Emily and every child like her. President Trump is telling these billionaires, you can't buy fear anymore. He is making sure that no amount of money can threaten the safety of an American home. He saved them. He really saved them. And if that doesn't make you love this man and this country, I don't know what will. But hold on, because the investigation didn't stop at the billionaires. The trail kept going, and it leads to a place that will shock you if you have little ones at home, maybe doing their homework right now, or playing with their toys. I want you to look at them, really look at them, because this next part, this is for them. The investigation didn't just find maps to our homes. It found something even more twisted. It found a plan to target our schools. You heard me right. The evidence President Trump's team uncovered shows that these groups, funded by Soros and Hoffman, were planning to bring their chaos into our classrooms. They wanted to start clubs and after-school programs that sounded nice on the outside but were designed to teach our kids to hate their own country. They wanted to teach your 10-year-old that America is bad, that the police are the enemy, that the flag you fly on your porch stands for something evil. Can you imagine the confusion in a child's eyes? They go to school to learn math and reading, and instead, someone tries to steal their love for their country. Someone tries to make them ashamed of being an American. It's like they wanted to turn our own children against us, to break the bond between parent and child and replace it with anger. I have a granddaughter, sweet little Sarah. She loves to draw pictures of the flag and she puts stars everywhere. When I think about someone coming into her school and telling her that her drawing is wrong, that her love is wrong, it makes my blood boil, but then the tears come back because President Trump stopped it. He saw this part of the plan and he was furious. He reportedly said, "Our children belong to their parents, not the radicals." And with this RICO investigation, he is cutting off the money that would have paid for those poisonous books and those hateful programs. He is standing at the schoolhouse door, blocking the way, ensuring that our kids can just be kids. He is saving their innocence. He is saving their future. And for every parent and grandparent watching, that is the greatest gift a president could ever give. I want to tell you about someone I met a few years ago. Her name was Brenda. She was a sweet, older lady who ran a small bakery in a town that had been hit hard by the riots back in 2020. Brenda told me, with tears streaming down her face, how she watched everything she worked for burn to the ground in one night. She called the police, but they were overwhelmed. She called for help, but no one came. She felt forgotten. She felt like her country had turned its back on her. For years, people like Brenda have been asking, why? Why is this happening? And now, because of President Trump, we know it wasn't just random anger. It was funded, it was planned. It was paid for by people who have never met Brenda, never tasted her apple pie, and never cared about her dreams. They treated her life like it was nothing more than a game piece on a board. But tonight, I wish I could call Brenda. I wish I could tell her, Brenda, he heard you. President Trump heard you, because this investigation, it is for her. It is for every small business owner who lost everything. It is for every person who felt like they didn't matter. President Trump is standing up and saying, you matter. Your dreams matter. And I will not let anyone, no matter how rich or powerful, destroy what you have built. He is taking the money that was used to burn down bakeries and using the law to make sure it never happens again. He is giving a voice to the voiceless. He is lifting up the forgotten men and women of this country and placing them right where they belong, at the heart of the American story. And that, my friends, is what love looks like in action. It's a leader who fights for the Brendas of the world when no one else will. Friends, I want to talk about a feeling we've all carried for too long. It is a heavy weight on our shoulders. It is the worry. The worry that maybe the bad guys were winning. The worry that maybe truth and justice were old-fashioned. Ideas that didn't matter anymore. We have walked around with a knot in our stomachs, watching the news, seeing the anger, and wondering if it would ever stop. But today that weight is gone. Can you feel it? It is like a heavy, dark cloud has finally lifted, and the sun is shining down on our faces again. When President Trump went after those billions, he didn't just freeze bank accounts, he freed us. He told every mom worrying about her son, every dad worrying about his daughter, I have got this. You can rest now. I'm hearing beautiful reports coming in from towns right along the border. These are places that have lived in fear for years. But tonight, people are gathering in the streets. They aren't there to protest. They aren't there to scream. They are there to pray. They are hugging each other and crying tears of pure joy because the nightmare is finally ending. Strangers are shaking hands, looking each other in the eye and saying, we are going to be okay. That is what President Trump did today. He didn't just sign a paper, he gave us our hope back. The bad guys, Soros, Hoffman, the people hiding in the shadows, they are shaking in their boots right now. They never thought a leader would love his people enough to fight this hard for them. They thought they could buy our country, but they forgot that the American spirit is not for sale. This victory isn't just his, it is yours. It is for every time you flew your flag, even when people made fun of you. It is for every time you prayed for our nation when it seemed hopeless. This is your reward. The tide has turned, patriots. The storm is breaking, and the light shining through is brighter than anything we have seen in years. But hold on tight, because what I am about to tell you next, it proves that this is bigger than just one investigation. It is a movement. Folks, I have to take a moment to wipe my eyes again, because what I am seeing right now is something I never thought I would witness in my lifetime. For so long, the people in charge, the billionaires in the fancy suits, the people who think they are better than us, they walked around like they were giants. They looked down on us. They laughed at our values. They thought we were just little people they could step on whenever they wanted. But tonight, the ground is shaking, and it isn't us who are shaking, it is them. We are hearing whispers that phones are ringing off the hook in those big, tall office buildings. The people who used to brag about their power are now too scared to answer. They are panicking. Why? Because the bully finally got stood up to. President Trump didn't just freeze their money. He looked them right in the eye and said, "You are not bigger than America." I want you to think about a man named Tom. I met him at a diner in Ohio a few years back. Tom is a veteran. He gave his leg fighting for our freedom. He told me once, with so much sadness in his voice, "Harlan, I feel like the country I fought for is being stolen by people with big checkbooks who don't care about us." He felt small. He felt like his sacrifice didn't matter. Well, Tom, if you are watching tonight, I hope you are standing tall, because President Trump is doing this for you. He is showing the world that a carpenter, a truck driver, or a soldier is worth 10 times more than a billionaire who hates his country. I can just picture Tom right now, saluting his television, tears running down his face, knowing that he finally has a champion who fights back. The giants are falling, friends. They are tumbling down one by one, but don't go anywhere, because the story isn't over. If you think they are scared now, just wait. The investigators didn't just find money in those accounts. They found something else. They found a list. And when you hear who is on that list, you are going to understand why this is the biggest victory we have ever seen. I need you to steel yourselves, because the secret I am about to share is the one that hurts the most, but it is also the one that sets us free. The investigators didn't just find bank account numbers. They found a list of names, and when President Trump saw who was on that list, they say the room went deadly silent. We all grew up believing that the people in charge, the judges, the local politicians, the people on the news, were there to tell us the truth. We thought they were on our team, but this list, it tells a different story. It reveals that the betrayal didn't just stop with the billionaires, it went deeper. It turns out some of the very people we trusted to protect our towns and our laws were taking money too. They were taking donations and gifts from these same dark sources to look the other way while our borders remained open and our streets became unsafe. It feels like finding out your best friend has been lying to you for years. It breaks your heart. You wonder, who can I trust? But then you look at President Trump. He isn't part of their club. He never was. That is why they hate him, and that is why we love him. He held that list in his hand, and he didn't hide it. He didn't try to make a deal to keep it quiet. He made a vow. He said, the American people deserve to know who sold them out. This is the moment the swamp actually drains, not just a little bit, but all the way to the bottom. President Trump is scrubbing the dirt off the face of our government. He is making sure that the only people in power are the ones who actually love you and love this country. It is a painful surgery, folks, removing all this sickness, but think about how healthy, how strong, and how pure America is going to be when he is finished. We are witnessing the great cleaning, and when the dust settles, we won't just have a country, we will have a home we can trust. Again, but don't go yet. Please, don't go. Because the ending of this story, the vision of what comes next, it is the most beautiful thing I have ever heard. Close your eyes for a second. I want you to picture something. Picture a morning where you wake up and turn on the news, but you don't feel that knot in your stomach anymore. You don't feel that worry about who is trying to hurt your country. Instead, you see a nation that is standing tall, proud, and free. This vision isn't a dream anymore, folks. It is happening right now. Because President Trump stood up to the darkness, the light is finally breaking through. This investigation, this list, this brave stand against the billionaires, it is the beginning of a new chapter for America. It is a chapter where justice is real, where the good guys win, where the families I talked about, the truck drivers, the bakers, the ICE agents are the true heroes of the story. President Trump is leading us to a place where our borders are strong, our streets are safe, and our children can grow up loving their country without anyone telling them they are wrong. He is building a future where America First isn't just a slogan, it is the way we live every single day. I have to wipe my eyes one last time because my heart is just overflowing. We made it. We held on through the tough times, and now we are seeing the victory. We are seeing a president who loves us so much that he took on the giants and won. So tonight, go hug your loved ones. Tell them that everything is going to be okay because we have a leader who is watching over us. We have a country that is coming back to life. And we have each other. Thank you for watching Harlan Reports. This is the truth the world needs to hear. Please, before you go, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with everyone you know. Let's keep spreading this hope. Let's keep fighting for the truth. God bless you. God bless President Trump, and God bless the United States of America.